Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like a stranger was staring back at you? Have you ever wondered if the world would be different? Maybe even better without you in it? We all have moments when we question our worth, when we feel invisible, when we believe we don't matter. But here's something most people don't realize. That voice in your head telling you that you're not enough, it's lying to you. Today, I want to share with you a story that might change everything you think you know about yourself. This isn't just another motivational tale. This is a mirror that will show you who you really are. In a bustling city where millions of people rushed past each other every day, there lived a young woman named Sarah. She worked at a small coffee shop tucked between two towering office buildings. Every morning she arrived early, prepared fresh coffee, and greeted customers with a smile that never quite reached her eyes. Sarah had convinced herself that she was ordinary, unremarkable, just another face in the endless crowd of humanity. For years, Sarah had carried a heavy weight in her chest. It started in childhood, when other kids would forget to invite her to birthday parties. It grew stronger in school when teachers rarely called on her, even when her hand was raised. It became unbearable in college when she sat alone in cafeteria corners, watching groups of friends laugh together while she ate in silence. Now, at 25, Sarah had accepted what she believed was her truth. She was forgettable, unimportant, someone who simply took up space in a world that had no real need for her. Every day at the coffee shop felt the same. Customers would order their drinks, grab them quickly, and rush out without a second glance. Sarah would clean tables, refill supplies, and count the hours until closing time. She told herself that this was all she was meant for, that this small, quiet existence was enough for someone like her. But deep inside, a part of her heart still hoped for something more, even though she was afraid to admit it. One particularly gray Tuesday morning, as rain drummed against the coffee shop windows, an elderly man walked in. He was different from the usual customers. Instead of rushing to the counter with his phone pressed to his ear, he moved slowly, observing everything around him. His clothes were simple but clean, and his eyes held a warmth that made Sarah feel slightly nervous. When he reached the counter, he looked directly at her and smiled. "Good morning," he said in a gentle voice. "What would you recommend today?" Sarah was surprised by the question. Most customers knew exactly what they wanted before they even walked through the door. She stammered for a moment before suggesting their seasonal blend. The man nodded thoughtfully and said, "That sounds perfect, but tell me, what makes it special?" Sarah found herself explaining the origin of the beans, how they were roasted, and why she personally enjoyed that particular blend. The man listened intently, asking follow-up questions that showed he was genuinely interested in her answers. As Sarah prepared his coffee, she noticed something unusual happening. For the first time in months, she felt seen. Not just acknowledged as the person behind the counter, but actually seen as someone with thoughts, opinions, and knowledge worth hearing. When she handed him the cup, the man thanked her warmly and said something that would echo in her mind for hours afterward. "You have a gift for making people feel welcome. Thank you for brightening my morning." After the man left, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. She replayed their conversation in her mind, trying to understand why such a simple interaction had affected her so deeply. Throughout the day, she found herself paying more attention to her other customers. She noticed the tired businessman who came in every day at exactly 10:15. She observed the young mother who always ordered the same drink while juggling her toddler and her phone. She saw the college student who sat in the corner booth for hours, surrounded by textbooks and empty coffee cups. For the first time, Sarah realized that she wasn't just serving coffee. She was part of these people's daily routines. She was a constant in their busy, chaotic lives. The businessman relied on her to have his usual order ready. The young mother trusted her to understand when she needed extra patience. The college student found comfort in the quiet space she helped maintain. These small connections, which Sarah had dismissed as meaningless, were actually threads that wove her into the fabric of dozens of lives. The next morning, the elderly man returned. This time, Sarah greeted him with genuine enthusiasm. She asked about his day and listened as he shared stories about his grandchildren. When other customers saw their friendly interaction, something interesting happened. They began to linger at the counter a moment longer. They started making eye contact. Some even began sharing details about their own lives. The coffee shop, which had always felt like a place where strangers grabbed drinks and left, slowly began to feel like a community. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah noticed more changes. The businessman started saying good morning instead of just grunting his order. The young mother began asking for Sarah's advice about the best drinks for staying alert during long nights with a sick child. The college student thanked Sarah for keeping the music at just the right volume for studying. These interactions, which might seem small to an outside observer, were revolutionary for Sarah. She began to understand that worth isn't measured by grand gestures or extraordinary achievements. Sometimes the most profound impact we have on the world comes through quiet moments of human connection. Every smile she offered, every moment of patience she showed, every small kindness she extended was creating ripples in ways she had never imagined. Sarah was not invisible. She was not unimportant. She was not just taking up space. She was making a difference. One conversation, one cup of coffee, one genuine moment at a time. One afternoon, as Sarah was wiping down tables near the window, she overheard two customers talking at a nearby table. They were discussing their morning routines, and one of them mentioned how much they looked forward to coming to this particular coffee shop. Not because of the coffee, though, that's good too, the woman said, but because of the girl who works here. She always remembers how I like my drink, and she has this way of making you feel like your day matters. She makes this whole place feel warm and welcoming. Sarah froze, cloth in hand, hardly believing what she was hearing. These people were talking about her. They noticed her. They appreciated her. The woman continued, "I've been coming here for months, and I can honestly say she's made my mornings better. There's something special about starting your day with someone who genuinely cares." Sarah felt tears welling up in her eyes, but this time, they weren't tears of sadness or loneliness. They were tears of recognition, of finally seeing herself through someone else's eyes. That evening, Sarah walked home with a lightness in her step that she hadn't felt in years. She began to think about all the times she had dismissed her own actions as insignificant. The elderly man who told her about his grandchildren, she had given him someone to share his joy with. The stressed businessman, she had provided him with a moment of calm before his hectic day began. The young mother, she had offered understanding and support during a challenging time in her life. The college student, she had created a peaceful environment where learning could happen. Sarah realized that she had been looking for her worth in all the wrong places. She had been waiting for someone to tell her she was special, to recognize her talents, to validate her existence. But the truth was, she had been special all along. Her worth wasn't hidden somewhere waiting to be discovered. It was present in every interaction, every kind word, every moment of genuine care she had shared with others. The following weeks brought a transformation that amazed even Sarah herself. She began to speak with more confidence, to stand a little taller, to look customers in the eye with genuine interest, rather than nervous uncertainty. She started remembering names, asking about families, celebrating small victories with regular customers. The coffee shop became known throughout the neighborhood, not just for its good coffee, but for its atmosphere of warmth and connection. One morning, the elderly man who had started this journey of self-discovery approached the counter with a serious expression. "Sarah," he said, "I have something important to tell you. I've been coming here for months now, and I want you to know that you've changed my life in ways you probably can't imagine. After my wife passed away last year, I felt completely alone in the world. I would go days without having a meaningful conversation with anyone. But you, with your kindness and genuine interest, you reminded me that I still matter, that my stories are worth telling, that I'm not invisible." Sarah's eyes filled with tears as the man continued. "You see, I used to be a teacher for 40 years. I thought I understood the impact one person could have on others. But you taught me something new. You showed me that worth doesn't come from titles or achievements or recognition. It comes from the simple act of caring about other human beings. You've been teaching me, and everyone who walks through that door, what it means to be truly seen and valued." As Sarah listened to his words, she felt a shift happening deep within her heart. All those years of feeling invisible, of believing she didn't matter, of thinking she was just taking up space in the world, began to crumble away like old paint peeling off a wall. She wasn't just ordinary. She wasn't forgettable. She wasn't unimportant. She was a source of light in people's lives, a reminder that human connection and kindness still existed in a world that often felt cold and disconnected. The man reached across the counter and gently placed his hand over hers. "Never forget your worth, Sarah. Never let anyone, including yourself, convince you that you don't matter. You've touched more lives than you know, and the world is better because you're in it. Promise me you'll remember that." Sarah nodded, unable to speak through her tears. But these weren't tears of sadness anymore. They were tears of healing, of acceptance, of finally understanding a truth that had been waiting inside her all along. She mattered. She had always mattered. Her worth wasn't something she needed to earn or prove or discover. It was something she had always possessed, something that lived in every act of kindness, every moment of genuine care, every connection she made with another human being. Sarah's story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of every person who has ever felt invisible, unimportant, or forgotten. We spend so much time searching for our worth in achievements, in recognition, in the approval of others. But the truth is, your worth was never lost. It was never hidden. It was always there, woven into every small act of kindness, every genuine smile, every moment you chose to care. You don't need to change the world to matter. You don't need to be famous to be valuable. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love and respect. Your worth lives in the quiet moments, in the small connections, in the simple act of being human in a world that desperately needs more humanity. Right now, someone's life is better because you exist. Someone remembers a kind word you spoke. Someone feels less alone because of something you did. You may never know about these moments, but they're real. They're happening. They matter. So the next time that voice in your head whispers that you're not enough, remember Sarah's story. Remember that worth isn't measured by grand gestures, but by genuine hearts. Remember that you are not invisible. You are not unimportant. You are exactly where you need to be, touching lives in ways you may never fully understand. Your worth isn't something you need to find. It's something you need to remember. And now I hope you do.